Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my people, depending on where you're watching me from. Welcome to my channel, Pause and Learn channel. My name is Doris, aka Isioma Big Mama. I told us that my aim is to create healthy and vibrant community. Still on the neem leaf, dogoyaro leaves. I have dried this. It's I dry and then I just blend it into powder paste. Remember the one I did earlier? That was for malaria and fever, fast cure for malaria and fever. But today we're going to talk about this neem leaf as natural contraceptive. Natural contraceptive. I'm talking about married people. Something happened to me when I was young and naive. When I had my first baby, people told me that if you have not started menstruating again, that you cannot get pregnant. The first month passed, the second month passed, I have not started menstruating again after my first baby because I was breastfeeding. And then, now, one thing led to another, and then the first time my husband and I had sex, I got pregnant. On the third month, I didn't see my menses. I was thinking that, still the menses has not come, like the after childbirth, like what the elderly ones told me then. Lo and behold, I started feeling somehow, and then we discovered that I was pregnant. My husband was like, hey, what will people say? What will people say? Not be you do. However, what am I trying to say? If I knew this then, if I knew about this, my first child, 3 days before he became 1 year, I had the second baby. That resulted in me stopping him breastfeeding earlier than I would have done. My aim was to breastfeed him for a year or thereabouts. But because of what happened, they asked me to stop breastfeeding him because that the baby in the womb will, the baby will become sick, blah, blah, blah. If I knew about this neem leaf as natural contraceptive, that wouldn't happen. So for the married couple who intend to space their babies, especially if the woman is working or, for financial purpose, you're not ready yet for a second baby, and then you want your first, or you want to space your children anyhow, this neem leaf is natural contraceptive. This will prevent pregnancy pending when you are ready to get pregnant. This. You dry it, blend it into paste, and then before your ovulation, you start taking it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they teach us in the hospital that we should calculate our ovulation period. Some people start ovulating from the 10th day of the menstrual cycle, from the 10th day to the 16th day, from that gap. But do you know those calculations most of the time fails? Because it's only God that really knows when you release your egg, when you ovulate. Only God knows. Sometimes you will want to abstain from, during those periods, and sometimes you still get pregnant. So ovulation calculation is not 100%. So when you are not ready, if you know that you want to space your childbearing, or your husband is not yet ready for you to have another baby, my dear, go for neem leaf as your natural contraceptive. It works. It works. What did I say? It works. So prevention, they say, is better than cure. Do not abort, because it's a sin to abort. That is murder if you kill a baby, even though some people will say that the baby is not. Once the sperm fertilizes the egg, that it has become, the fetus has become alive, have become a human being. And if you abort, you have committed murder. And then Bible says that when you commit murder, you commit sin, and you'll be answerable to God. So in order to avoid that, if you want to space your childbearing, if you are not ready yet for another pregnancy or for pregnancy, either because you're working or because you're not ready yet, you want to, train up your children, well, instead of, having, every year, one child, every year, one child, every year, one child, like that, and you cannot feed them, you go about begging. Use this. Neem leaf, dogoyaro, dogoyaro, natural contraceptive. So we're still, like I told us before, this neem leaf has more than 100 diseases it can cure. So many things it can do. It's even for cosmetic purposes. I'll talk about that in my next video. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it to friends and families so that they will benefit from the things that I know. I'm talking from experience. It happened to me, my first child, 3 days before he became 1 year, I had the second baby. What to do? I didn't know. I was young and naive. Then I was not born again though. So I depended on what people were saying. If you are not started menstruating, you cannot get pregnant. But I got pregnant, And even when I got pregnant for my second baby, for 3 months I was still menstruating. 3 months. Though the menstrual cycle was like 1 day, like that, 2 days. So I just noticed that my body started changing. I started having nausea. I started having, but I never thought about pregnancy. Until I went to the hospital. We went to the hospital, and then I found out that I was already 3 months pregnant. If I knew about the neem leaf, I would, because I planned to breastfeed my first baby for even more than 1 year. So, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share. I'll see you in my next video. Love you.